Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. It is a great honor to welcome back to the conference Anthony Giagnacovo, the CEO of CallRevu. Anthony, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thank you, Ted. It's a pleasure to be back, and I'm honored to be here with our dear friend Jack Holcomb from New Smyrna. Jack is experience in this industry is unbelievable, and but not only is his experience unbelievable, and he's done tremendous things with his operations, but also a man who's a forward thinker. We worked with Jack on our new product, CallVision Intel, and also our Service Vision Intel, and he's provided us great insights, and we're honored to have him here today.
Jack, very honored to have you.
Glad to be here. It's first time maiden voyage, so glad to help out and talk and maybe get a few extra good ideas. So let's proceed.
Jack and Anthony, it's interesting, if I may, just to kind of set the stage, Anthony. The phones seem to be the number one topic we are hearing about in service and fixed operations. And I don't mean, Anthony, like anything really scientific, like a lot of the basics, like, are we answering the phones? Are we getting to that phone call? Give us a little backstory, if you don't mind, from your perspective.
No, and you're so right. I mean, right now, the phones are become the quintessential instrument that our customers are using to contact the dealership. I mean, it is what it is. It's gone from where it used to be about 70% of all sales were driven from a phone call to now almost 96% is happening on that end. But on the service side is where you're seeing a tremendous amount of activity. And I'll let Jack tell more about that. The service departments are overwhelmed with the phones. Customers want to have that communication, that information. So knowing what to do and how to do it and understanding where you can correct and adjust is so important. And Jack, please jump in and tell us more about how that's happening on your side.
Well, I think from my perspective is that, first of all, you had to get clean data. I think everybody got caught up in the data world. So every data they was given to them, they just took it and called it was accurate, and we're going to start making decisions off of it. My first was I want to make sure the data is accurate. And what I found was a lot of the data wasn't accurate. So we had to clean up a lot of the technology there, which we've worked with your team and another vendor to really have my level of comfort in the accuracy of the data. So now I have an actionable piece of data that I can start to move forward with and make changes. And, when we went through it, I always say when you go to all of these vendors or you go to they try to give you more than you really need. Like I usually get there with a singular issue, and by the time I leave, I got a bag full of groceries. And it's like, can I just get back to the singular issue? And the singular issue is when a customer calls, I want them to connect to somebody, and then I want to see how we do when we connect. And to your new tool that's coming out, I think I told you this recently, that what I like about it is very basic. It's blocking and tackling. It's the fundamentals of the phone. And again, we always try to do more than we start what we wanted. And then I want to know how many people call. So you have the volume of calls that helps me staff. Then how many unique people are actually calling. So then it tells me, well, what's the ratio? Like how many times do my customers actually got to call and get through? And then are they connecting? And then the big thing that I fought for 3 years was status. What's going on with my car? There's no update. There's no, to the point where it drove me nuts. But I looked at, there was two people that were suffering in that transaction or that communication, my employee and the customer. The technology didn't support my employee, and the data wasn't clean. So I really I struggled to come up with a solution. Once we started to see, okay, here's the volume, here's the calls, here's the issues. When we looked at the first numbers, like, oh my God, I can't believe how many people are calling and not connecting. So let's just fix that first. Okay, now we're getting the phones answered. We got enough people there to answer the phone. So we're doing that. Now are we getting them to the people they want to get to? Because the advisors are busy people. They're not. So even if you have an extension, you can get through. That's not connecting in my eyes. Connecting is a human being with an answer that's gonna help you with your questions. So pushing all that and looking at that data as it came through, said, okay, I'm getting a lot of voicemails. I'm still getting a lot of phone calls. I need those voicemails to be humans. So then we took our CRM, we took our phone calls, we trained our operators to more like BDC people to be able to answer it, handle pricing, set appointments, and we call them status alerts. So if you're working in my CRM, you call, it's a status call. I'm going to send an alert to the advisor. You had an alert. But that operator and the lane assistants that I have there, which we just repurposed that labor to handle that issue, though any one of those people can solve that customer's issue. It might be as simple as, I don't have that answer right now, but we're going to call you back in 10 minutes and we're going to have your answers, or anything else that we can do for you. The customer, in their eyes, they've never had that answer. They've always said, I'll have somebody call you back. We give them a time. We give them, is this what you want the answer to this question? And then we follow through with it. So, wow. And we have a support staff that helps the advisors when they might just be with a customer working. So we can do two things at once. And then the advisors start to help there. So then you say, okay, now we have a status call. Why did we have a status call? Why did we not communicate? Well, that could be a million different reasons. So the nice thing is when we go into the new service vision and we look at it, I can look at it and I can say, okay, where did the trouble come in the call? And then through there, it's the timeline that they have of the call. The old way we used to do this was we would go in, if you want to review calls through any technology, you just had a big batch of phone calls and you would start clicking through, or then they got really creative and called them alerts. And then you just, you could review 6 or 7 calls in about an hour. Well, how many managers do we really have in a day that want to burn an hour for that? They don't exist. It's an unrealistic expectation. So you have the technology, the owner checks the box, and somehow because he's got the technology, thinks he's solving the problem. What I looked at was, how can I solve the problem? And what I said is, when I go in there now, I see this red area where that's where the trouble in the call lies. So my eyes, when I look at the dashboard, I don't have to open a call up, listen for 6 minutes. I can literally go on the first line of red in the timeline. I have a summary over here which shows me where we're at. I can hear the tone, I can see the words, I can look at the keywords, and in a matter of 30 seconds, I'm in, I'm out. I know what my problem is. I can get to the employee. I don't need to get up and go talk to them. Through technology, I can send them an email, an alert. I have a call, whatever it is. We're connected, and there's no moving around, because moving around takes time also. So just working those efficiencies through, that's where the system helps me. Like that, but very simple. Like I said, it's like 5 boxes. I had this many calls, I had this many unique customers, I had this many status calls, I had this much that didn't connect, and I had this that went to voicemail. It's 5 boxes. That's manageable, and I can do it in less than minutes and not hours. That's what I like about it. That's as simple as I can make it on that side.
Anthony, how refreshing to hear Jack. Jack, you really represent the dealer, because you're right. It's the fundamentals, it's the basics. These are the key metrics. Anthony, wow, just a wealth of information.
Oh, and Jack said there's a few things that I don't really call out, that it's so important to call out. It's, first of all, this is not Big Brother looking over to blame you for something. This is more, how do I help you to become a star? How do I make you better, more perform better? That's, first of all, it's a mindset in many ways, and Jack's got that mindset. We were talking about that previously, and one of the things he said is that historically you would never go in and tell your boss that, hey, I screwed up, or you hope that he didn't catch that, and next month you'll be able to overcompensate for it. Now it's more about, how do I make you better, right? It's, look, and but it's time management. Jack doesn't have, nor does his team have, hours to scroll through number of calls and listen to the calls. So CallRevu, as he mentioned, we have a sentiment analysis timeline process. It looks at the sentiment of the calls. It focuses in on the area. This is red. Sentiment is not good. Listen to that, whatever it is, a 20-second, 30-second piece of the call, 10-second piece of the call, pick it up, understand, move on to the next. And that's all important. And now that's only done because, CallRevu has been invested heavily in artificial intelligence. We've been doing this forever, by the way. We're the first, we're not the one touting it out loud, but because of our AI and our experience in this area, we've developed something that helps, Jack and his team do things relatively quickly, which is really important. But it is refreshing to see someone that's noticing that, you can get overwhelmed with the screen. You can have thousands of panels that you can look at, and people are pushing out, what about this? What about that? And Jack is what I call focus, and focus is your friend. So go in, let's get good at this, and then we'll get better at the next things. And that's what we're doing, and that's what we're helping.
Jack, for our audience who may not know, give us the lay of the land. What franchises, where are you located, and how long have you been working with CallRevu?
It's at least been 10 years in that area. I don't have the exact data, but it's at least a decade. And I'm in New Smyrna Beach, Florida, which is just 45 miles east of Orlando. And it's a New Smyrna Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. And it's a New Smyrna Chevrolet store. They're both new facilities, built within the last 7 years. So we're everything's new. The equipment's new, the technology's new, the brick and mortar's new. It's new.
And it sounds, Anthony, like Jack had a hand in helping with bringing the service vision to fruition, which is your product, which we're hearing everything about here lately.
Well, you're right. So when we came to market to develop a new product for the industry, we created Service Vision Intel, which is the product that Jack helped provide some insights, and was even one of our early beta testers, and taking it to market and now using it as he is using it. So correct. But one thing I do want to say, everything's new in that store, but Jack's been in this business. How many years, Jack, now?
About 30. Yeah. And the gray and the beard might be coming through a little bit. I kept it brown on top, but I'm being exposed on the bottom here. So yeah, but I've been in New Smyrna 22 years.
Wow. And Jack, about how many service advisors do you have there?
12.
Okay. So you got a lot of calls. You got a lot of moving parts there that you're looking at, and very astutely, as I mentioned, you're looking at the fundamentals and basics without trying to overcomplicate it.
Well, and there's two, it is and isn't. So like you said, we talk about basic, we talk about identifying. So I have my quick service is a big part of our business. It's new. And when I say it's new, it's a new component. It's a retention tool for me. It's been the best feedback from the customers, but it's like a big conveyor belt. There's a lot of expectation that comes with quick service, which is communication, which is appointment setting, which is handling the volume of calls, and that for me, if you want to, we put 16,000 cars through our quick service lanes last year, 16,000 hours. And overwhelmingly, the consumers, the feedback to them is, we like the fact we can get you on the phone or we can talk to you. We like the fact that you're transparent. If we tell you it's broken here, we show you a picture and a video of it. There's no taking our word for it. So the one thing that consumers said is, please communicate with me better. That's first. That's 90%. I don't want to do business with you because I can't. I drop my car off, and then it's just basically I can't get anybody on the phone. I can't get anybody to call me back until it's done. And my life really doesn't matter. If I got to pick my kids up from dinner or from school, if I got to make different alternate transportation issues, all the things that happen in the daily course of our lives that require, when we take the one component that gets them from point A to point B out of it, that we need to be understanding and saying, hey, this is when we're going to deliver it back. So communication it's not kind of number one, it's solely number one. And we had to become better at the phones. And the first thing was volume. I had one operator. They were the lowest paid people in the store. Well, guess who's not the lowest paid people in the store anymore? Mm-hmm. Guess who's got an incentive pay plan, just like a sales rep does? I mean, they're tied to my team. They're tied to my CSI. They're tied to everything that everybody in the store is tied to. So they are now part of the team. They're trained properly. They're not just, and I'm guilty as charged. I had, administrative stuff from the back of the house that my controllers had the operators doing, warranty schedules and stuff like that, answering the phones, So I'm guilty. I don't come from a clean space. I come up from a very, very self-inflicted issue that I created myself. And then when I started seeing the data, man, the investment became easy. The investment became very easy. And it was weird because there was a little pushback from everybody going, why are we paying these people more? I'm like, there's nobody in the store that handles more one-on-one customer interactions than the people we're hiring. And it's just, like I said, for me, it's one of the most valuable seats in the store.
Anthony, if you take Jack and multiply him by the thousands of dealers and thousands, those are the same pain points that everybody's experiencing in one way or another.
Spot on. That is so true. Jack says it all the time, and I've heard it from many of our other customers. Status checks are your customers telling you that they're not being informed. So having that information, knowing that your people are answering the phone to do status check is telling you that you've got a problem with how you're communicating. And to Jack's point, communication is number one. Imagine if you're able to reduce that to almost nothing. How much more time will those people have? How much more cost saving would you have? We always say, we try to build solutions that are going to help our customers, that are going to deliver value. We're not just we're not building new bells and whistles out there. We're building solutions that are going to be creating efficiencies, effectiveness, and value. And I'm happy to say that a solution that is more productive in communicating with your customer and helping you to do that is very, very valuable. I mean, be it's CallRevu or be it someone else's, but you want to have a solution that drives value.
Wow. So, Jack, if our audience, which is dealers, general managers, we've got fixed ops, service managers watching today, if they want to take advantage of some of this expertise in technology, Jack, do you recommend them reach out to CallRevu or go directly to Anthony? How do we do it?
Well, I would highly recommend the product, but I always tell everybody, I tell them, I said, it's your job to give me clean data.
Yeah.
Put it on a platform that's easy to navigate. It's easy for my managers to use, but it's my job to complete the transaction. I can't hold you accountable for I didn't sell enough cars or I didn't write enough service. Your job is to help me communicate better with my customers. So you have to isolate what the expectation is. And typically what drives me nuts with managers and it's not that I find fault with them, it's that they're looking for the vendor to turn the vendor on and the problem go away. It's a better tool, but we, with our assets, our management, our operations, and our accountability are what's going to keep the processes tight. The technology just makes it easy on everybody participating in the process. I think their product makes it easy for my people to participate in the process.
Love it. Anthony, Service Vision is out now.
Service Vision Intel is out and rolled out. We have well over 400 customers right now on the platform. It's been a tremendous success, and it's impressive. First of all, I'd like to thank Jack for ensuring that we steered in the direction we did, and our other beta customers that helped us through this process. But it is unbelievably successful, and you can see the need and the demand around this, and integrating it back into the whole entire call, as well as into the sales side, is impressive. Jack said something really important. It's a referral program. You get a customer that's happy on the service side, the high probability that they'll buy from you another car is massive. You piss them off on that side, Jack, right. Do they come back?
Oh no, we haven't figured that one out. I still have that box that populates. If I ever figure out how to make that not to piss the customer off populate, that's it's not you're not going to fix it all. But I can tell you one thing: we keep that number hopefully in the single digits.
Right on.
Anthony, if our audience wants to find out more about Service Vision, CallRevu, CallRevu is going to be at NADA later this week. Is that right?
We're at NADA. We have a phenomenal booth that is going to knock your socks off. So 6139 is our booth number. So please do come by. You'll probably, I've said Jack's coming by to visit us, so you'll get to see the man in person.
Now, if our audience is not going to NADA, they can reach out on the web to CallRevu.
Absolutely.
At callrevu.com.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. Well, Jack, I want to thank you on behalf of the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Welcome and great insights, and very honored to have both you and Anthony Giagnacovo, the CEO of CallRevu. Anthony, any last advice words?
Just, well, thank you, Jack, for being on this, Ted, for doing this fixed ops. There is such a high inefficiency on the fixed ops side, and it's no fault of the fixed ops organizations. Technology hasn't been up there and kept up to speed with it. Today, a solution like a CallRevu can really help. So, it's about time. We've spent so much time on the sales side, on the technology side. Now we have something on the fixed ops side, which is very, very impressive and is very accretive. There's definitely an ROI on this one that's easily measured and rapidly measured.
Number one topic at the Fixed Ops Roundtable is the phones. CallRevu, everybody. Number one solution. On behalf of the Roundtable, Jack Holcomb, thank you. Anthony Giagnacovo from CallRevu. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks.